Do you have a recollection when Mr. Daybell and Lori Vallow met?
Yes.
And you were present for that meeting, is that correct?
Yes.
And was that in Arizona?
No. As you recall, I said St. George, Utah.
That was on the 26th of 2018 in St. George. That's correct. Okay. So you had known Miss Vallow at that point for how long?
A few weeks.
The October 26th at St. George, did that have religious overtones as well?
Yes.
And that was also somewhat sponsored by the LDS Church, is that correct?
Not by the church, by individuals.
Okay. But the theme of that was consistent with what your religious faith is that correct?
Correct.
Okay. And are you telling me that on October 26th, Mr. Daybell was there as well?
Yes.
And Mr. Daybell, do you recall what his topic was at that time on October of 2018?
Yes, he talked about the different visions he had of what he saw was going to happen in the last days.
When Lori met Chad was talking about his visions, right? Was he the prophet? And was he somehow, some way in control of Lori? Remember, her children found dead and buried in his backyard. How is this trial going to play out? They're co-defendants on trial together. Is it going to be portrayed that Lori was a victim of Chad Daybell? Is that possible? Do the facts support it? Well, you saw the circumstances where they met. He's given a speech about the last days and giving his visions. I want you to hear more from that witness. That was Melanie Gibb, who's a good friend of Lori Daybell's. Here she is talking about what Lori learned from Chad.
You testified that you were there when Chad and Lori met, correct?
Correct.
Now, Lori had told you, or is it true that Lori had told you she had read Chad Daybell's books?
Yes.
Before they met?
Yes.
And you recently testified that Lori and Chad met up several times, correct?
Correct.
And Lori told you about these visits, correct?
Yes.
And they were infatuated with each other, weren't they?
Yes.
And Mr. Pryor asked you about your LDS beliefs.
Yes.
Questioned you quite rigorously about it. And you're a member of the LDS faith. And
Yes.
and you testified that Chad, to your knowledge, is a member of the LDS faith, correct?
Correct.
And Lori was a member of the LDS faith, correct?
Correct.
And that you had some level of bonding over the LDS faith, correct?
Yes.
But did Lori believe things that you didn't believe?
Yes.
Who taught her those things?
She was taught through Chad.
And how do you know that?
Because she didn't seem to have knowledge of the things she shared with me until she met him.
Was she taught? Was she brainwashed? Was she just starstruck in meeting Chad Daybell, this prolific author? Well, not prolific, but author who had written these books that she had read. Let's bring back in the think tank Michael Sterling, Ann Bremner, Rick King with us. How would you describe that relationship, Rick? And do you think this is how it may play at their trial, that Lori may take the approach through her defense team that she is somehow under the spell of Chad Daybell with all these new beliefs and actions because somehow, some way, he has control of her?
Vinny, I believe you, and I think that's exactly what's going to happen. I think that they're going to paint her as this starstruck, and all under his spell as he convinced her to carry. Or let me stop there. Not convinced her, but I'm still believing that they're going to point to the empty chair of Alex, her brother. I still think that plays into it, but I think that it comes out as Chad convinced them both, or somehow was able to compel them both to carry out these terrible atrocities. So I think that you're going to hear that she was under a spell, but ultimately I think the two of them point to Alex.
Michael, I want to play a little more. And this is Lori Daybell speaking with her friend Melanie Gibb, and I think it gives us some insight into her belief system and where she was mentally. And I'm wondering if this sounds like someone who is, again, under the spell of the so-called prophet Chad Daybell. Let's listen.
I don't know, it just
We have
sounds
not
weird.
opened the door for darkness, Mel. Darkness is knocking on the door all the time because that's the way dark works with the light. And I promise you that I have done nothing wrong in this case, but sometimes you have to hide in the cavity of a rock for your own life safety. And that's what the Lord requires of you sometimes. And that's how it is. And I'm sorry that's how it is, because there is a lot of darkness on the earth
Yeah, I know.
that's coming after me for zero reason besides the darkness of Kay, which you already know she's dark.
I haven't met her enough to know if she is dark or not. I've just met her slightly, and she seemed like a normal kind of person, but then I haven't engaged with her that much, so I don't know that personally.
So you don't know about her changing the thing for herself to be the beneficiary of the policy and all that stuff. None of that's dark, right?
Well, I haven't seen those documents, so I have no way of knowing.
I've seen them on my computer.
No, I have not. I haven't even looked in on your computer before.
Michael, does she sound like someone who's under the control and spell of the prophet?
Hard to tell from that, Vinny. She certainly has some beliefs and some theories, right? And the question becomes whether those are her beliefs and theories and her thoughts, or whether she somehow was under the spell, as you mentioned, Vinny, of Chad Daybell. It's hard to tell from that particular recording whether she was under the spell or whether she was, prophesying on her own.
Okay, I've got more for you. Ann Bremner, here is the prophet speaking with Melanie Gibb now. Let's take a listen.
All these conspiracy theories just make me sick to my stomach. Just absolutely sick. I know I've been told for years that Tammy would pass away at a young age. And I had no idea that Lori would even be a part of my life. I just knew that my life had two segments. And that I know Tammy's on a special mission and she's with my kids. She's visited them. There's so much, Melanie, that you just have to have faith. And this is not some sort of master plan. There's no way Lori and I should have ever come up with this.
Sounds like the George Michael defense there. Gotta have faith, man. Gotta have faith. That's what the prophet said.
Faith, right.
It sounds there like he is trying to manipulate Melanie Gibb, perhaps in the way that he arguably manipulated Lori?
Yeah, he's a smooth talker. He's a smooth operator, under the banner of heaven. Remember that John Krakauer book? I think it's a series now. But you got to have faith, and this is all something that I foresaw. And, you can't say that we did any of this. I mean, this is just God's will. This is faith. But, the one thing I was thinking about, Vinny, is Lori was found incompetent pre-trial. And I think it's because she was bamboozled by this charlatan. And then she's snapped out of it, apparently, because she's competent to stand trial. So where is she now mentally with him? I mean, is she going to be, basically his beck and call and saying he's the savior and I'm in lockstep with him in a defense? Or is she going to save herself, and say that he did all of that, and I was a victim. And that's why I was found incompetent. And I'm still, in that same position here today. I mean, this man is a cult leader, or a cult of very few people, cult of one, or you have to have faith. But it'll be an interesting defense because he obviously is persuasive.
If I'm the prosecutor, I think I focus on a different George Michael record.
What?
Or CD, whatever you want to call it. I want your sex. I think that's what this was all about between Lori
You're right.
and Chad. With that, we'll be back.